Thousands of years ago, the world was not a playground. It was a deadly arena where survival was a daily lottery. Imagine walking through a frozen, pitch-black forest, knowing that every rustle in the bushes could mean your end. For early humans, nature was divided strictly into two categories: things you could eat and things that could eat you. Among all the terrors of the Ice Age, one shadow loomed larger and more terrifying than the rest: the wolf. These weren't the playful dogs we know today. They were apex predators with bone-crushing jaws and eyes that glowed in the dark. For generations, humans and wolves shared a mutual, deeply rooted hatred for each other, competing for the exact same meat. Every encounter between our ancestors and these wild canines ended in blood, spears, and flashes of sharp teeth. The thought of sitting next to one, let alone petting it, would have seemed like an absolute death wish. Yet, against all biological odds, the most dangerous enemy became humanity's ultimate ally. How did this impossible psychological shift even begin? For a long time, historians believed that brave human hunters kidnapped wild wolf pups and forcefully raised them. But modern science suggests a much more fascinating reality. Humans didn't choose the wolves. The wolves chose us. It all started at the garbage dumps right outside early human campsites. When humans successfully hunted large prey, they left behind piles of leftover bones, scraps of fat, and unwanted meat. To a starving pack of wolves in the dead of winter, these trash piles looked like a glorious, effortless buffet. However, approaching a human camp required immense courage because humans were armed and dangerous. The ultra-aggressive, highly fearful wolves stayed far away, growling in the distance and refusing to take the risk. But a few unique wolves possessed a rare genetic trait. They had slightly lower levels of stress hormones, making them naturally calmer around humans. These less fearful misfit wolves were the only ones brave enough to creep closer to the fire for a free meal. This marked the birth of self-domestication, a slow process where survival favored the friendliest, not the fiercest. As these calmer wolves kept returning for food, a beautiful psychological barrier began to melt away. Generation after generation, these specific wolves bred with each other, passing down their friendly genes. Over centuries, their physical appearance actually started to change because of their new lifestyle. Their terrifying, rigid ears began to soften and flop over, and their long, intimidating snouts shortened. Their coats developed spots, and their tails, once held straight and stiff, began to curl and wag with genuine excitement. Humans noticed this strange transformation and realized these creatures weren't acting like the monsters in the deep woods. An unwritten, sacred evolutionary contract was formed between two completely different species. Humans realized that if they kept these calmer wolves fed, the wolves would act as a living, breathing security system. With their incredible sense of hearing and smell, these wolves could alert the camp to approaching predators long before human eyes could see them. In return, the wolves received a steady supply of food, a warm fire, and a safe place to sleep. It was the ultimate win-win scenario in the history of life on Earth. The partnership quickly moved from passive coexistence to active, highly coordinated teamwork. When humans went out to hunt massive beasts like mammoths or giant deer, their new furry partners came along. This combination of human intelligence and canine tracking skills created an unstoppable hunting force. Wolves used their unmatched noses to track down prey across miles of endless, blinding snow. Once the target was found, the wolves would run in circles, barking and cornering the animal so it couldn't escape. Then, the human hunters would arrive to finish the job safely from a distance, using their spears and arrows. Because of this incredible cooperation, human hunting success rates skyrocketed like never before. Communities that partnered with wolves had significantly more food, warmer clothes, and better chances of survival. Meanwhile, tribes that stubbornly refused to trust the wolves struggled deeply against the harsh Ice Age winters. The bond was no longer just about convenience. It became a core strategy for human evolutionary success. As thousands of years passed, something even deeper began to evolve: genuine emotional connection. Wolves didn't just sleep outside the tents anymore. They were invited inside to share the warmth of the family hearth. Human children grew up playing with wolf pups, learning to treat them not as tools, but as childhood companions. Archaeologists have discovered incredible graves from this ancient era that prove just how deep this love went. In these ancient burial sites, humans were laid to rest alongside their canine companions with immense care. The animals weren't sacrificed or thrown away. They were buried with beautiful necklaces, bones, and gifts for the afterlife. This proves that our ancestors viewed these creatures as true, respected members of their families and tribes. The raw fear of the wild beast had completely dissolved into a profound sense of mutual love and loyalty. They looked into each other's eyes and saw a shared soul, a mirror of trust across the species divide. The wild, terrifying predator of the Ice Age was officially gone, replaced by a devoted protector. But how did this deep emotional connection become so incredibly powerful on a biological level? The secret weapon behind this legendary friendship is a tiny magical hormone called oxytocin. Often called the love hormone, oxytocin is what creates the intense bond between a human mother and her newborn baby. Science has discovered that when a human and a dog look into each other's eyes, a brilliant biological miracle happens. Both the human's brain and the dog's brain experience a massive simultaneous spike in oxytocin levels. This creates a powerful positive feedback loop. The more you stare, the more love you feel, and the more they want to stay close to you. No other two completely different animal species on Earth can trigger this exact hormonal response just by looking at one another. We literally hacked each other's chemistry, rewiring our neural pathways to fall in love across a massive evolutionary gap. It wasn't just a mental agreement. Our very biology shifted to seal this beautiful partnership forever. We became hardwired to love them, and they became hardwired to love us right back. Today, that ancient Ice Age relationship has blossomed into an astonishing, colorful reality. From that one single, terrifying ancestor, the wild gray wolf, humans have bred thousands of wildly different dog shapes and sizes. Whether it's a massive, heroic German shepherd guarding a home or a tiny, energetic Chihuahua sleeping on a couch, every single one of them still carries the ancient, loyal DNA of those brave wolves who stepped toward our campfires. They no longer hunt mammoths with us, but they play a massive role in our modern world. They guide the blind through busy city streets, rescue lost hikers from dangerous mountains, and comfort us after a long, exhausting day. So, the next time you look at your dog wagging its tail or begging for a small piece of food from your kitchen table, remember that you are witnessing the beautiful, living conclusion of a 30,000-year-old story. It's a gorgeous reminder that with patience, kindness, and trust, even the most terrifying enemies can become our absolute best friends. We didn't just conquer the wild world, we invited it in, shared our fire, and changed the history of life forever.